If you're over 60 or you care for someone who is, what I'm about to share could change how you think about your safety and possibly save a life. Ebola. You've heard the word. Maybe it scares you. Maybe you think it's something that happens over there, far away, and could never touch your life. But here's the truth. Outbreaks have a way of reminding us how connected our world really is, and seniors are consistently among the most vulnerable when any serious virus spreads. Why? Because as we age, our immune systems don't bounce back the way they used to. A virus that a younger person might fight off becomes a much more dangerous battle for someone in their 60s, 70s, or 80s. Doctors and health officials have said again and again that age and underlying health conditions, things like diabetes, heart disease, or weakened immunity, dramatically increase the risk when a virus like Ebola is involved. Today, I'm going to walk you through exactly what Ebola is, how it spreads, the early warning signs your body might give you, and most importantly, what you can do right now to protect yourself and the people you love. This isn't about fear. It's about being prepared, informed, and calm. Because the people who survive serious health crises are almost always the ones who knew what to watch for. Stay with me, because what comes next could be the most important 7 minutes you spend all week. Let's start with the basics, because understanding something takes away its power to frighten you. Ebola is a virus, a serious one, that causes what doctors call a hemorrhagic fever. That means it affects your blood vessels and your body's ability to control bleeding and fluid balance. It was first identified back in 1976 near the Ebola River in what is now the Democratic Republic of the Congo, which is where the virus gets its name. Since then, there have been several outbreaks, most notably the devastating 2014 to 2016 outbreak in West Africa, which became the largest in history and brought this virus into the global spotlight. Now here's why this matters to you, even if you live thousands of miles from where outbreaks typically occur. Health experts have long emphasized that in our modern world, travel happens fast. A person can be in one country one day and another country the next. This means that infectious diseases, even ones that start in remote areas, can potentially appear in places we don't expect. For seniors, this is especially important because your body's defenses work differently than they did decades ago. Your immune system, the one that used to fight off colds and flu without much trouble, now needs more support and more time to respond. This isn't something to be ashamed of. It's simply biology, and it's the same for every person as they get older. But it does mean that staying informed about viruses like Ebola isn't just news for you, it's personal health information. Health authorities consistently note that older adults who contract serious viral infections often experience more severe symptoms, longer recovery times, and a higher risk of complications. That's exactly why understanding this virus now, before there's ever a reason to worry, puts you in a position of strength rather than panic. Knowledge truly is your first line of defense. When you understand what a virus is, how it behaves, and what your body's vulnerabilities might be, you're no longer caught off guard. You become someone who notices things early, who asks the right questions at the doctor's office, and who makes calm, smart decisions instead of fear-based ones. That's the entire purpose of this video, not to alarm you, but to arm you. So let's keep going, because next, I want to talk about exactly how this virus spreads, and there are some details here that might surprise you, especially if you've heard only bits and pieces from the news over the years. Here's something important to understand right away. Ebola does not spread through the air like a common cold or the flu. This is genuinely good news, and it's one of the most reassuring facts about this virus. According to the World Health Organization and the CDC, Ebola spreads through direct contact with the blood, bodily fluids, or tissues of a person who is sick with the virus or who has died from it. It can also spread through contact with surfaces or materials, like clothing or bedding, that have been contaminated with these fluids. In some cases, it has been linked to contact with infected animals, particularly in regions where the virus is more common. Now, why does this matter to you specifically? Because understanding how a virus spreads is what allows you to protect yourself without living in constant fear. For seniors, especially those who may have caregivers, family members helping with daily tasks, or who spend time in shared living spaces like assisted living communities, hygiene practices become incredibly important during any kind of viral concern. Washing hands thoroughly, avoiding contact with anyone who is visibly ill, and being cautious around unfamiliar environments are simple habits that go a long way. Health officials have also pointed out something many people don't realize. A person infected with Ebola is not contagious until symptoms appear. This means casual, everyday interactions, like passing someone in a grocery store, are not considered a risk in the way some other illnesses might be. This is a crucial point because so much fear around viruses comes from not knowing the facts, and that fear itself can be harmful, especially for seniors who may already feel anxious about their health. Stress and anxiety can weaken your immune system over time, so staying calm and informed isn't just emotionally healthier, it's physically healthier too. What I want you to take away from this section is this: you are not powerless. The more you understand about how something spreads, the more in control you feel, and the better choices you naturally make, often without even thinking about it. Simple things like keeping your hands clean, staying up to date with routine medical checkups, and maintaining open communication with your doctor about any travel plans or potential exposures. These are small actions that build a strong foundation of protection. In the next section, I want to talk about something even more important: the early symptoms your body might show, and why catching these signs early can make all the difference in the world. This is the part where being a little bit informed can genuinely change an outcome, so don't go anywhere. This is the part I really want you to pay close attention to, because early recognition of symptoms is one of the most powerful tools you have, no matter what illness we're talking about. According to health organizations like the CDC and WHO, the early symptoms of Ebola can include sudden fever, severe fatigue, muscle pain, headache, and a sore throat. These symptoms typically appear anywhere from 2 to 21 days after exposure. Now here's the part that's especially relevant for seniors. These early symptoms, fever, fatigue, body aches, can sometimes feel similar to other common illnesses, like the flu or even a bad cold. This is exactly why awareness matters so much. If you've recently traveled to an area where an outbreak has been reported, or if you've had contact with someone who has, and you start experiencing these symptoms, it's important not to brush it off as just getting older or just a bug going around. Health experts consistently emphasize that early medical attention dramatically improves outcomes for almost any serious illness, and this is especially true for older adults. Your body, as we talked about earlier, doesn't have the same reserves it once did. A fever that a younger person might shake off in a day or two can hit harder and last longer for someone older. As the illness progresses, if untreated, symptoms can include vomiting, diarrhea, rash, and in more severe cases, bleeding or bruising that's unexplained. I want to be very clear here. I'm not sharing this to scare you. I'm sharing this because knowledge prevents panic. When you know what to look for, you don't waste precious time wondering, is this normal? You act. You call your doctor. You mention any recent travel or exposure. You advocate for yourself or for your loved one. This single habit, speaking up early and clearly, has been credited time and again by medical professionals as one of the biggest factors in positive health outcomes. For seniors specifically, having a trusted person, whether that's a family member, a caregiver, or a close friend, who also knows these warning signs can make a huge difference. Sometimes when we're not feeling well, we're not the best judge of how serious something is. Having someone else who can say, "Hey, this doesn't seem right, let's get this checked out," is incredibly valuable. So please, after watching this video, consider sharing it with someone you trust. Not because you need to be afraid, but because two people who understand the warning signs are always stronger than one. Next, I want to talk about something hopeful, the survival side of this story, because there's more good news here than most people realize. Now let's talk about something incredibly important and honestly, more hopeful than many people expect: survival and treatment. In the past, Ebola outbreaks were associated with very high fatality rates, and that history is part of why this virus carries so much fear. But here's what's genuinely encouraging. Medical science has made real progress. Today, there are approved vaccines that have been used to help control outbreaks, particularly one developed and used extensively during outbreaks in the Democratic Republic of the Congo in recent years. There are also antiviral treatments that have been authorized for use, which were not available during earlier outbreaks. This means that the picture today is meaningfully different from what it was even a decade ago. For seniors, The most important factor in survival, according to health professionals, comes down to early supportive care. This includes things like maintaining fluid balance, managing symptoms closely, and receiving care in a proper medical setting as early as possible. The body's ability to fight off this virus is significantly improved when it's not also fighting dehydration or other complications at the same time. This is exactly why everything we've talked about in this video connects together. Understanding the virus, knowing how it spreads, recognizing symptoms early, and seeking care quickly. These aren't separate pieces of advice. They're a chain, and each link makes the next one stronger. For you, as someone who cares about your health or the health of someone you love, the most powerful thing you can do isn't complicated. It's staying informed, the way you're doing right now. It's having conversations with your doctor about any travel plans, especially to regions where outbreaks have occurred, and following official guidance from health organizations rather than rumors or social media panic. It's also about taking care of your overall health, because a strong immune system, supported by good nutrition, proper hydration, regular checkups, and managing any existing health conditions, gives your body the best possible foundation, no matter what challenges come its way. I know health topics like this can feel heavy, especially when we're talking about something as serious as Ebola. But I hope what you're feeling right now isn't fear, it's empowerment. You now understand more about this virus than the vast majority of people do. You know the signs, you know how it spreads, and you know that modern medicine has tools that simply didn't exist before. That knowledge is yours to keep, and yours to share with the people you care about most. So here's what I want you to remember from everything we've covered today. Ebola is serious, yes, but it's also something we understand far better than we used to, and that understanding is your protection. Stay aware, stay calm, take care of your health every single day, and don't hesitate to speak up if something feels wrong with your body. You know yourself better than anyone, and that instinct matters. If this video gave you some peace of mind, or even just helped you feel a little more prepared, do me a favor, hit that like button. It really helps this channel reach more people who need this information. Subscribe so you don't miss future videos where we break down important health topics in plain, simple language, just for you. And if you have a parent, a grandparent, or a friend who you think would benefit from this, please share it with them. Drop a comment below too. I'd love to know what other health topics you'd like us to cover. Remember this, staying informed isn't about living in fear. It's about living with confidence. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you in the next one. A quick note, I deliberately avoided inventing specific fake studies, like a 2019 Harvard study found, since fabricated citations could mislead an audience that may take health claims at face value. Everything referenced here reflects general, accurate guidance from the CDC and WHO. If you'd like, I can help you find real, citable studies to weave in for added credibility.